Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Abela lo kan yo. Ka go so duro. Hey. Awaye. Ati o lo a. Ìyàwó Abela lo kan yo. Níbi tó jọba yìí. Níbi tó yànba. Máa ti sì mọ̀ pé yo. Máa jẹ́ jíjí. Wọ́n pè jamais forcé o. Si tu connais. L'animateur Choco Nosca Yassin de Toyebi. L'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Aniché les deux.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Good evening, folks. Samson to Liberian Pub Radio. I want to thank all of you again for tuning in to Liberian Pub Radio. We appreciate you. Thank you for your continued support. Because of your support, we're here most of the time. We say thank you. We recognize that and we'll continue to say that. I'm already starting with some issue here already, so just give me a moment here. Okay. Just give me a moment. Why am I doing this? No. Again, folks. Okay. We already have an issue already, so let me straighten that up immediately. Okay. I'm not too sure why. Why this is not supposed to be doing that. Okay. I hope I'm still quiet. Am I audible? Okay. Am I audible now? All right. How's that? Okay. Let's leave it as that, and hopefully, hello. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to be fine. So again, thank you. I'm not too sure if it's still good enough. Let me hear it from this side. Testing. That's what we do. We don't have people sitting behind the desk. We do our own stuff here. So anyhow, thank you, folks. Thank you for joining us. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening. We want to thank you for your continued mercy want to thank you for your continued blessing. My Lord, without you, we won't be here. We say thank you. Thank you. We have nobody else but you. We count on you. We put our faith in you. And you repay and bless us. Thank you. For your blessing, we do these things. Because of you, we are here. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you very much. Thank you. We recognize all of the good things that you do and continue to do for us. But we will continue to ask for more and continue to pray to you. And I say, all you say to us is, be faithful, be respectful to your fellow human being. And we will do that. My Lord, thank you. Thank you for all that you continue to do for all of us. We ask that you bless the Republic of Liberia, bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia, give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. Bless the outgoing leadership of the Republic of Liberia. God, only you. No one else can do these things but you. And we ask that you continue to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, folks, let's get it going. As I stated here before, some time ago, that this, for me, from my perspective, that this whole presidential, that's the whole presidential, not president, presidential, okay? No, but very serious now. Leadership, as far as I'm concerned, when you are not at the top of the leadership pyramid, you don't see much, and you think things are easy. You can handle it. But when you get to the top and look around, you say, oh my God, what do we have here? What do we have here? This is exactly what usually happens to leaders when they get to a certain position. But I'm glad that Ambassador Baka has been there. He's seen it. And I'm glad that he's the one that is going there. And hopefully we pray. He's a human being like any other person. So all we can do is continue to pray for him. Continue to pray for him. Put him before what is right for our people. But he has seen everything else. And hopefully we'll do what is good so that we all can enjoy Liberia. The budget for the transitional team has been approved by the outgoing president, President Weah. But as I was reading that today, I began to reflect on past history. That we're no longer going to have so say one, so say all. That we will now have one man, one vote. Because of one man, one vote, we are now having transitional period. Not transitional period from the same party, but transitional period from different party, different people who have different ideas, and they will compete against each other democratically. And one who wins by the Liberian people after electing him, that person then becomes our leader. One man, one vote. And that is very important. But people die for that idea. For us to be able to have one man, one vote. That idea has been something that the progressive is for years. And our own brothers and sisters denied every one of us that privilege to have one man, one vote. So because of other issues, that there was a lot of things that went on that brought us to this particular point. But there's a saying, I believe, somewhere where they say in any revolution, people have to die in order for other people to enjoy. If you, it doesn't mean, even in your own house, people don't have to die, but you have to struggle in order to enjoy. Nothing comes easily. Don't listen to people say you got silver foot in his mouth, you put silver spoon in his no. Everything you work for, you will do. If you do it sincerely, you will enjoy it. But if you try to go through different route, you will enjoy, but in the same different route that you're going. Folks, the issue for us, Dr. Tuto, good evening to you as well. Thank you for joining us. And our prayers are still with you and your people back home. But anyhow, we saw the list, the so-called list that were out there, lists out there, but put out on Front Page Africa. Now, we're not saying that that is the final list, or even that is the list, and President-elect Joseph Barker will go by, but I'm just saying. So the list is very interesting. Some old faces. And what I saw, that list, it is not impressive. Our sister representation is not enough. It's not enough. And I hope Ambassador Barker I hope this is a tease from Front Page Africa for the likes of people who respect sisters, our sisters' right, our educated sister right, those sisters that have the ability to lead, their right to be involved. The list that I saw, the faces that I saw, sisters were not fully represented. And we're talking about Liberia. And we say we want to move Liberia to the next level. We cannot even afford to leave anybody behind. So sisters, Liberian sisters, must be fully represented in whatever government that is coming. It's very important. And this is the mistake most of the leaders will make. As far as I'm concerned, like I said, I've been around. In many of these Liberian diaspora organizations, in America, Europe, or anywhere else, the sisters are the backbone of this organization. Specifically, the financial backbone of this organization are the sisters. So I said to Ambassador Barker this afternoon, the sisters, Liberian sisters, must be fully represented. I'm not saying they should have more, but they must be fully represented. Because they are just as capable, if not more, than most of you guys that are on there. So I will ask that the incoming government do their due diligence in terms of researching, in terms of vetting sisters to be fully represented. However, the list has some of our friends, people we know very well, people we consider brothers. They're on our list. And we're happy for that as well. But it's not because of that. We're saying that the incoming government will do their best to try to have this issue resolved. One other thing I want to talk about here before I go on to my Tabata this afternoon. So, why am I? Just give me a minute. Why is this thing not? Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. One other thing that I want to talk about here before I go on my Tabata this Monday afternoon is this. That Ambassador Barker, I think he has some serious issue besides the opposition, CDC opposition, that will try to put roadblock on every corner in terms of developmental agenda from Ambassador Barker, so they can say, you see, we told you he can lead. But we're ready. Ambassador Barker and his people are ready for that. They are quite capable of handling that. But what I think that they also need to do is to step ahead of these things. We have been hearing about the protest in the Capitol building for those people believe they need to get paid because they believe owes some money. So I'm not going to dispute that, but I think Ambassador Bakar need to somehow. I'm not saying that every little protest that he has to get himself involved. Far from it. But these type of things that we saw today, a young man's car got blazed, put on fire because of what he believes he's doing. Now we don't know all of the surrounding issue yet. We're looking into it. But what we saw today, if that is true, then I think these are things that bring out violence. And we've been reading our own brother, Sir Joseph, Honorable Senator Sir Joseph, who from other newspaper account have been threatening to beat people up, whoop them. So now his name is being connected. I'm not too sure how true that is. But those are things that we're going to frown on. There's no question asked. And so we're hoping that Ambassador Bakar and his people not sit around, wait until things get out of hand. You can, in terms of violence, nobody have monopolies over violence. That's for this whole political issue, this whole democracy and what have you, as far as I'm concerned, it's a bluffing business. And Liberia can attest to that. When Liberian called a bluff of democracy, you saw what happened. So the way, democracy, freedom of press, I'm allowed to say whatever, freedom of association, those are all bluffing things. They're not, they're something, ideas that people can challenge. So I'm saying before these things get out of hand, we all know these are things that are bluffing business, the Constitution, this and that. Those are bluffing issues. However, they are serious. They are the fabric of a democracy. They are the fabric of a society that want to practice democracy. I just told you a few minutes ago that people fought, died for one man, one vote. An idea. It's not something you're born with, to say you're born to the, what's your name? Samson, to one man, one vote. No. But it was an idea that before I, Samson, to like many other Liberians, like one man, one vote. But it's still an idea. And those ideas must be nurtured so that folks will understand what they are. What is the benefit in me telling folks to believe in this idea of one man, one vote? Why? Why should somebody in one place cares for one man, one vote ideas? The person is in one place, he doesn't even have to vote. All he does is go to farm, does the farming business, go carry deer, and cook your family. But if that person can understand that because of one man, one vote, that he is allowed to do his farming equally. These people need to be told and explained this idea of one man, one vote. Why am I going through that tonight? Because it's very important. There are documents, history, specifically for Liberia. What this idea of one man, one vote was never practiced. We're not going to beat around the bush. We're never practiced. We have a political party that ruled Liberia for almost 170 some odd years. One man, one vote was never part of that idea. That particular idea was never part of their thinking. Those who were leading that political party refused to allow one man, one vote because they believe within themselves that they alone have the power to tell the Liberian people how to live. And so the idea of one man, one vote was very strange to them, was not something that they accepted. But as God could have it, Liberian decided to resist. Liberian decided to resist their idea of democracy. Many Liberians, having had their time to educate themselves, realize that their type of one man, one vote is not what is sufficient for the majority. And so they decided to resist their idea of one man, one vote. And they wanted majority idea of one man, one vote. In the process, the country was shaking. Because remember, changing idea to change is not something easy. Many of us don't like changing business. The liberal love changes. But the conservative don't like changes. The conservative, they refuse to change and listen to us, the liberal. But we liberal, we love changes, progressive changes. Because we know that changes don't just come overnight. You move gradually, but you set a goal and say, we will get there as a people. And I'm so happy tonight to hear my own brother Kofi Wood saying to us that the president, outgoing president of the Republic of Liberia, have approved a budget for $650,000 inaugural budget. Now, I don't know what all involved, so I'm not going to talk about the money issue. Plus, I'm not a money man anyway. I don't know anything about money, so I don't open my mouth on that. Folks, I sent the link out already. Okay, I send the link out. Emma Josh, I send the link. Mali, I send the link. Mr. So, I send the link. Terry Collins, I send the link. Cece Goya, I send the link. Sister Kotu, I send the link. I expect people to come on and join me in this conversation. However, if you're busy and you're not able to do that, we say fine, we can talk. But let's go on. So the idea here, okay, excuse me, folks. That's what we do. On air, somebody call, we answer. But anyway, excuse me for that. Anyway, but so this idea of one man, one vote is something that is unique. Not to many countries in the world don't even like that. There's a president in Sri Lanka right now. What is it? Bangladesh, been in power for almost 15 years. Now, if you stay in power for that long, what other fresh idea you have that those ideas were never brought in 10 years ago, that 15 years later, you think you're going to change? After first, second term, 8 years the most. After that, you got nothing else except confusion. But in the Republic of Liberia, oh, Jesus, thank you. And we want to say thanks to our brothers and sisters that passed, that died, for us to have this opportunity of one man, one vote. I want to thank you, and I want to thank the law for giving you courage, the courage to sacrifice your life for us to have this one man, one vote. And we will cherish it. We might not agree with it. From time to time, we will argue about it, but it's part of us. And as time goes on, generation after generation, this will be something that we're all going to enjoy. And I want to thank you. So, reason I'm bringing this thing up, the reason I'm bringing this thing up is that the staffer at the Capitol building been on strike now for the last 2-3 days, I believe, and it's getting serious to the point that violence has been injected into this process. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And President Bakai, soon to be President Bakai, cannot sit down and let these things spin out of hand. Now, this young man told us today by 6 o'clock tomorrow he's going to the Capitol building. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? The government, the incoming government, and even if this outgoing president will not say anything, the incoming government, not necessarily President Bakai, but those of you that are around President Bakai that have little authority now, the vice president-elect, you're still a senator. My own sister, you're senator. We know you. You are not a violent person. I know you. You need to step in. Whatever these people owe, because we've been hearing from many of you senators and representatives as well, that whenever the president calls you in section, he owes you 1 month. You've been saying that. So the staffers are saying, fine, you said they owe you one, you owed us 1 month. So if that's the case, find the money to pay these people. And if you cannot pay right away, negotiate with them. Negotiate with them. You don't want to have incoming administration 1 or 2 or 3 weeks before the inauguration and somebody die. And you're going to walk on the stain of that person's blood. God forbid something happened to someone at the Capitol building. And then that's the same Capitol building you're going to use for your inauguration. Walk on over the blood of somebody. That would not look good for all of us. That would not be what we want for all of us. So I'm saying there, I'm taking this few time to encourage the young people who are demonstrating. They have the right to do so, but I ask again for them to stay within the confines of the law. And at the same time, the lawmakers, the senators that have the ability to settle this thing, please do it. Do not use this particular incident to be your launching pad as an opposition to this incoming government, because we will call you out. This must not be your launching pad. This must not be something that you try to dance around, hoping that somebody will get hurt so that the incoming government will be blamed. No, we're not going to let you do that. We're not going to let you do that. So again, let's see cooler head. Let's have cooler head to prevail in this situation. So let me move on. So according, as I stated earlier, the list, they have some very interesting. According to Front Page Africa, they have some very interesting name put forward here on this Front Page Africa list. And for Front Page Africa, it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting situation here. So let me see if I can go there. Okay. So I'm having an issue. Okay. So the list, just by looking at the picture, my people, I see here. I'm just going to say who all from the Salif administration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Basically, everyone here, one way or the other, has been involved into Ellen Salif administration. So, but I'm not gonna dwell on that right now. So we're hoping that the list, as they call it, will be able to come out clean it, and then we will talk about it. So let me go ahead and talk about the issue that I know of, because this is something that Ambassador Baka has been saying that he wants to achieve. Not necessarily able to complete all of it, but to achieve some level of success. And I think we will be here to make sure that that process happen, and we pray that he will be successful as well. So let me go ahead. Let me go ahead. Give me a minute. So again, this is Samson to Liberian Public Radio. Okay. So what I'm going to be talking about now is about the road issue. Okay. So the road issue, as far as I'm concerned, is something very important to all of us. To all of us. But I will be talking from a two different perspective here tonight. One is, can this road business be able to help Liberia in terms of uh, boosting the economy, the economic issues, economic affair of the country? Will this road issue be able to improve the lives of many Liberians? Will this road issue be able to give our brothers and sisters uh, good living condition, provide good living condition, and make their families and everyone else to get something decent in their life? And I say yes. I say yes, they can do it. That's this road issue. Yes, they can do that. So let's go examine a few of them. So the road business, okay. How do you use this road issue to improve the economic lives of our brothers and sisters? That's the first one I want us to look at. Okay, like I said, I'm not a money person, so I'm not going to be talking about how much money coming in and something. I'll just give you an idea. Okay, so in Liberia, you have what, 15 counties? Okay, so within the 15 counties, okay, so you say we're going to decentralize the road business. We're going to do our best to decentralize the road business. And how do we do that? Okay. I'll just use one county, for example. One county. Let's use one county, for example. So in Banga, now the issue, I'm not going to use Bon County because I don't know much about Bon County and its statutory districts. But so I will use Grangida. And bear with me because I'm from Grangida and I know the 3 districts in Grangida. And plus I know a few other towns in Grangida as well. So let's go to Grangida. So we say, okay, public, you're in charge of the money, whatever dollar amount, you're in charge of it. But let's separate the county development fund from that of the road in Grangida. Okay? So first thing first, public work need to come up and designate these roads by numbers, by whatever name they want to, whatever nomenclature they want to use, what kind of name they want to use. But you can't just say Kagata Ganta Highway. You can't say Kagata Banga Highway. No, those kinds of stuff we need to change those things. I believe they probably have a name. I don't know. If they do, that's fine. I've not practiced serious engineering in Liberia before, so I don't know much about it. But let's just say. So let's say from the river, from Sesto River, all the way to River G border, you call that Road T for Town. Road T, T Road, T Road. So from Town to the border, Biai Choson. So you call that Rosie, Zian Road. So you move on. What's the other major road? I'm not a farm to market road because there's many of them. Those I'll come back later. So you move to Zletown, and you go from Zletown to Bison. So Zletown to Bison, you call that road road K for cry. So you got road T taking you all the way, and you got row Z going to the border, and you got row K. You got row K going to buy. So you move on. You see what I'm going with this? So on a very serious note, when you designate these rows, their destination based on the name that is provided for this role. So those people, so you say, okay, I need to have, Grand Jury have 3 districts. I need to have public work to have at least 3 sections in Grand Jury County. 1 section for Boston District, 1 section for Chien District, 1 section from Queenable District. So those 3 districts already have their section. Now, remind you now, public work, you're in charge of the dollar amount. We don't care how much the dollar is. So, just like the government itself will put budget together. So the folks in the district, they go from town to town, major towns. It's okay. And the engineers that are going to be responsible for those areas, they don't have to be from Grand Jury County. Can be from any part of Liberia. As long as you're an engineer, you have an engineering knowledge, fine. So you go on. It's okay. Let's measure. Let's measure in terms of kilometer or miles. Okay. How many miles is going to take from here? Flow. What distance? Okay. And after you finish identifying all of the areas, and then you go to the community heads themselves. Let them identify area in terms of role that will be necessary for that development. I'm not doing the entire county here. I'm just saying the district. So the people in Boston District will be called, okay, to decide which role. Because you're gonna, all of them need, they will tell you that we all need those roles. Which one will be in number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so forth. So when those kinds of processes are done, and they have to be developed, final development will be from public works. But the people, they must identify them. Then you, as a public work representative, was okay. Based on the desire step. One row from here to Chiga to be number 2, and so forth. Then you, as an engineer, look at the map. And I will do it here so you guys can see it. So you, as an engineer, look at the map. Hello? Okay. So you look at the map of that area. Okay. What are the things involved in order for me to achieve this? And while you're doing that, what is the connection of this town that these people are talking about? What other in that corridor, what other towns that can benefit from this one road? Those are the kinds of areas you do a value analysis. Based on your value analysis process, you will be able to identify the benefit to the community. Who's going to benefit from this one road? And if you find out based on that analysis that the road itself, this one road, will benefit majority of the population, then that road becomes number 1. It might be short, it might be long, but who's going to benefit? Who are the users? So, okay. So all of these people are going to benefit. Yes, okay. Now, if we put this road, what type of road that we put on this in this corridor here? We can go asphalt, we can go concrete, we can go laterite, we can go chip and seal, we can do lots and other stuff. But before you come up with that, you'll say, okay, folks, I send a list out, or I send a link out. I send a link out, and I'm waiting for folks to join me, folks. But let's go ahead. So you say, okay, I know now who's going to benefit. All right. This road that I'm going to put in, who's going to utilize it? Who's going to utilize the facility? And how many cars going to be utilizing the facility? And what is the purpose? It's not just because people are going to benefit, but what is the purpose? Are we just going to go have fun and come back, or we're going to go to the people, the feeder road comes in and bring farm equipment, farm products to this road, so that this road can take the farm product to the meat market? Because you want these people up in the interior to benefit, so they do not depend on Monrovia. If these people are making money, they will not depend on you, and you, as a government entity in Monrovia, will have free hand to do many things. That's my end result. That's the end goal I'm trying to get at here. Okay? So, who you start counting. Okay. What is the most motorized equipment that will use this road? The first thing you will recognize, motorbike will be number one. Now, the other road, the T road, the one from the bridge to River G border, you're not going to see motorbike alone. You're going to have trucks, because it's a mean highway. You're going to have trucks. You're going to have taxi, what you call a sedan. You're going to have sedan. You're going to have SUV. You're going to have major, all the other cars going to use the T road. Now, the Z road is also going to be applied by trucks, because you see the history. You got a history. In order for you to do that, you don't even have to do truck count. You don't even have to do vehicle count. You just by mouth. Well, who uses this? They will tell you, oh, my man, that's a truck and carry Ray every day. Oh, that buses, everything. So you count. So T row, zero, most likely going to be on the same level. So K row, on the other hand, which go to Plow. Not many people in Plow and Bo has a car. Not many people in Plow and Bo are going to have trucks. But you now, because of this opening of this corridor, you are now encouraging people to take their truck, their car, to go to Plow and Bo. Because Plow and Bo, young people here in the United States, the rich people, both people, smart, I know them. They so both people, the Plow and Bo people, the PhD, they're from there. But they don't have means of taking cars over there. So if you open it up, the Plow and Bo brothers and sisters here in the diaspora will now find means to invest into Plow and Bo. Liberia, Monrovia, government, central government, like Monrovia. You see how the people are getting away from you? Because the people in the diaspora themselves, now that they have these kinds of roles, they will be able to develop their area. That development. But let's go a little bit. I told you already what are some of the things the road based they can benefit people. I'm going through that. Okay. So the Plow and Bo, you decide, okay, first you do the T row. You count the trucks. You count the amount of cars, and everything else. It's okay. Based on that, what type of material we're going to put on? Are we going to use asphalt? Are we going to use concrete? Are we going to use leather rags? Are we going to use chip and seal and any other material we're going to use on the road? So most likely, asphalt going to win, because concrete. I'm not Judy Moore who say concrete love water. Please, I'm glad he's not even on the list. I'm glad about that. So with that, you settle on the kinds of material you want to put, the kinds of structure section you want to put on this road. So based on that information that you already have on, based on the truck count, and there are equations to say based on this truck count, there's amount of trucks that will utilize the road. How thick how thick you want your road to be. When I say thick, the thickness of the road does not mean all asphalt, because you don't got that kind of money. You can still use 4-inch asphalt. You don't got that kind of money for the thickness. But you can build the road up with just the common material you got in Liberia. You can build a road. You can build it 2 feet deep. You can build it until you reach the 6-inch or so asphalt that's going to be required. So you say, okay, we know now we're going to use asphalt. Okay. So when we're using asphalt on this road, we finally determined that we're going to use asphalt. Let's talk about the safety aspect of this road. But here's the interesting thing now. Asphalt is not produced in Liberia. Asphalt, as far as I know, people in Liberia don't produce asphalt. Because asphalt is a mixture of sand, oil, bitumen, and sand and rock. Okay, but the mixed design, we can do it. We can come up with a mixed design. We can go and ice the oil people in Liberia, in Monrovia, because the asphalt is the byproduct of the oil business. So we can ask them to give us that byproduct. And here's the thing. You can create those things. Okay? But I'm not going to go into the engineering aspect of it for now. So, but guess what? So we have some of the people, I want people to be friends with me. I want them to do business with me. So if I call them roll and thief, then they will run away from me. So I will not call them roll and thief tonight, because I want them to be my friend to help me develop this country. So all of the people that have been finding money in the street, they got millions of dollars, they found money in the street of Monrovia. We're not going to question them how you get your money. But then we'll go to them, identify a few of them. Say, can you come up with this kinds of plan for us to produce asphalt here in Monrovia or anywhere? The government, now here comes the central government, and this one has nothing to do with the county. That has to do with the central government making that deal with those people that have been finding the money on the street. Okay? Those people that have been finding the money in the street. So, okay, those people, with that, you know that, okay, so you tell them, because you're asking them, their money they find in the street now, you're asking them to invest. You must give them reason why they want the money they find in the street. Oh, we know how to get it, but I'm not going there because I want people to be part of my process here tonight. I'm not calling them roll and TV. No, I want them to be part of me. So the people now, you're the central government, public work. We want you to invest. Okay. What is the dividend that person going to get back? You don't expect the person to invest their money. I don't care how they get their money. That's not my issue here tonight. What I'm trying to do here is to cut the ties with the foreigners in the country that are taking account of these businesses. Because if you put that price out there, the Lebanese, the rich, they will be willing to do that because they know they'll get money back. Huge sums of money. You want to invest into the Liberian businesses. You will say, but the Liberian people know how to. No. What do you need for the asphalt plant? Somebody check it out. You need gas, specifically, not the kind of gas you use for a car, though. Okay? Natural gas. You need natural gas. You need asphalt plant. You need sand, huge sand and gravel. They got place over there you can do a sand and gravel pit. You see where I'm going with this thing on a very serious note, folks? You see where I'm going with this thing? If you impact the Liberian people to live for themselves, the role here, that just in Grange, I'm not even going to the other 14 counties, just in Grange. we already start developing plan to employ employees, to employ Liberians to work at this plant, to train Liberians to make asphalt, to train Liberians how to do an asphalt mix design. You see where I'm going with this thing? So those people that are going to be trained, they will be trained to work. Their training will be for life. You can't take it away from them. They will be expert in those areas. They will be experts in those areas. And they will be willing to work, to be able to produce those kinds of stuff for not just for the central government, but also to be able to supply. So these people now that you already asked to invest, they say, fine, thank you. They're willing to invest. When they find out, but you, the central government, have to provide reason for them to invest. They must have good dividend. If they put their money in, they must have something back. You, the central government, you can't say, I will pay you next month. If the person put their money in and get the work, you pay them right away.
Look, we're tired with
Mr.
Tabata,
So,
man. Come on. We're tired with this Tabata. You're supposed to be in by this time.
Let me finish. Let me finish my program. Let me finish here.
Just sit down there.
Just sit down. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm almost done with my Tabata. Don't worry.
About 1 hour. Man, we're not here for that.
They coming in drove. Okay, let me wrap it up. Just give me 1 minute. Let me wrap it up. So when you do that, the people who you already trained to do the asphalt plant, they can now say, okay, we want to take the asphalt plant business in Grand. They're also going to train people. Development is not just in Monrovia. I will pick it up tomorrow. Now that I have these two gentlemen, let me go to them, and then we're going to start the process.
Ashfall, sandfall, rainfall. You need to be in Liberia by now.
No, I don't need to be anywhere. So,
every day,
okay, folks, I'm going to sit down. That doesn't mean I'm being disrespectful, but because I have these two gentlemen and I'm going to be in control of my stuff, so please forgive me as I try to sit here.
I am in control. You said for me tonight. I am here.
So I can put my foot right off. Okay.
I've
been calling people to come in. They're here now. Let's start the process. Mr. So, good evening. Mr. Sisegoya, good evening to you as well. I was just doing a placeholder with my.
Who came before? Say, is that a partisan share you're bringing on this network? You recognizing Cesar before me?
The man said, Mr. So he just selected hearing this now. He reacts to this.
I tell you, Cesar, you're not coming to make power. You think that's smart thing tonight?
That's the decision when they have the argument ready. It matter what you said before. I thought it was
Okay, guys. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. So. Thank you for joining me. I hope the other group will join us here very shortly. I've been talking a lot of Tabata here.
Actually, I like that Tabata. When I was listening for a while. You know, I personally do learn a lot from you about roads. I know absolutely nothing about it except calculating curves and steepness of hills. But beyond that, nothing else I know. So I like to listen to you and learn. So,
yeah, well, thank you. We're all learning at the same time. My thing is the just little Tabata that I talk about is this role Ambassador Baka is talking about. Has a lot of implication. If they do it well, Monrovia will, if I use the word isolated, will not be the good word. But the people in the countryside will leave Monrovia. In fact, if you do those things and businesses start flourishing all over the country, people will leave Monrovia to go work up in where the money at, where people are going. You see? So, but that's that. I will pick it up again tomorrow. So let me ask Mr. So, what's on your plate?
I'm tired with this.
Whatever thing that on your plate, it must be in line with the liberal view. Don't come with a conservative view that is not in line with my liberal view. Please go ahead. What's on your plate?
You want to restrict people of their civil liberties now, freedom of speech? Is that what you're saying? I should talk what you want to hear, what you purpose to hear. That's not what the
Where your
audience is
freedom
interested.
stop
That's
our
not what the
mind there.
audience. That's not a word. I intend not to come up, but the multiple inbox messages. Please, you need to go out there because this old man will not understanding him again. He's just all over the place. When you guys are not there, it's just a complete disaster. So
I'm
I'm
glad
here.
you came to avoid that disaster. Thank you.
Yes, I'm here.
What's on your plate?
I am the only person that is here on this network that represents the interests of the Liberian people. Now your patron from Minnesota, Sissy, because you have done everything possibly you can to have them, and that's not going to work. That's not going to
Thank
work.
you.
I
So
see you
look,
stand up. So I don't care how you talk. I see you.
I see you, sir.
look, I'm it is quite fascinating, interesting how this the first branch of government most likely it's coming to an end. It is quite amazing because I've been listening to a lot of live view, and those guys are very, very much persistent. They are determined, and I think Liberia has come to the point now people want to take ownership of their government. They are moving towards the government. The concept, the idea of people waiting for government to come to them, that's not going to happen. You know, people, the work in this country, the working class, it is the group that built and hold this country together. If you have the nurses, the ordinary janitors, or people in the social services, the engineers, and all of those people, the professional people, if you downplay them, it's a problem. And we see what is unfolding in recent time, Capitol Hill, the first branch of government. That is quite fascinating. And I think people are determined. And if it stays like this, it means, and you listen to their leader. He described them, they are wicked. They don't care. So this sort of a concept that people used to be afraid of government, and government wants to determine people way of life, people way of doing things. I'm making a guess here. These are coming to an end, and I'm waiting to see, because they are determined that if they can't get their pay, what deals them, because it is by law, they will continue this strike. So what impact will it have on the incoming government as well? We don't know, because if it goes on, the session is closed. What becomes of it? What could be the outcome of the inaugural committee? You know, the president said he's not sending police there. Why he's not sending police? I don't know. Whether it's a ploy, why, or if you're not sending police, pay the people to as well. But I think it's just too much going on, and I see it as a distraction, because by this time we should be having a conversation about the incoming government, some of the things that they're going to be doing. But it's also distracting. You saw the transitional team went there, and there was a lot of strong words being expressed. The people, I mean, it's just crazy. See where we are now as a people, as a nation.
Thank you. Sissy, what's on your plate? Do you have you have something to add on there?
Well, yeah, I mean that and something else, but I just want to. My grandma used to say, when somebody tired with a relationship, that they can see your drive for all the other part, and what now people saying to the capital now. They tired, they know we are tired with the people that think they know way out, you get that with it. So that time I can see a drive for a BB nose. So my grandma used to say, anytime I know we must have to say a nose beat. We all know a beat, but when they start calling it, then the general say now they very leave now and go. So for the president to to decide he's not going to send police, and you're looking at two things on my mind today, beyond that. The fire at Transport Ministry today exposed a lot of problems we got in our Liberian political and governance system. Mr. So the fire happened blocks away from the national headquarters.
Well, no water in the tank.
To some extent, funny. You blocks away from the national headquarters.
No fire, no water in the tank.
I see this firefighter got an oxygen tank on his back. He goes in and the smoke is suffocating him. He has to come out to catch his breath. And I'm saying, if this is how they're fighting fire just blocks away from their head office, where, you know, you would think all the experts are. Imagine if the fire broke up in Totan. When would the Liberian Fire Service get there? And I'm saying this to say that the new government, you know, we have to fund what we find as priority. Fires are becoming a lot more frequent in Liberia. We need to fund equipment purchase. We need to fund training because people's lives are at stake. Remember when that Islamic school got burned and those kids, you know, got burned in it? We have to do something, man. But I took my time today because I've been writing on Facebook lately. So I was writing about the MCSS experiment. Because MCS has been around since 1960, right? 61, somewhere around there. And I'm saying if this model has worked, then let's replicate it throughout the country. And if it hasn't worked, then let's discard it. So I took my time. I went and pulled out the 2011 Education Reform Act that was passed in August of 2011. And guess what? The people said they should replicate a model of the MCSS throughout the country. Since 2011. And then what shocked me more as I was reading, they set up the structure just like we have it in America, Mr. Toll. They have county education board, school board, county school board, district school boards. People are tenured to be district education officer that oversee the district school boards. And the county school boards got people that will be nominated to it, and they run the school. So you got school districts now. And the chief education officer, the county education officer, serves as the overall, which is what is happening in America here. You have independent school districts. And then you have the commissioner of education in the state that you are in. The people have this thing laid out in a law that got passed in 2011, Mr. So, to replicate the MCSS system throughout, and they are calling their consolidated school system throughout the nation. And nobody, not the Salif government that I helped pass this, or the We Are government, have done one thing to implement that process throughout the countryside. I'm still reading it, but I'm saddened that we pass laws and they just lay somewhere and nobody implement them.
Okay. All right. So thank you. Let's
so who put it in the suke and lock it up, Sissy?
I don't know. And I'm going to keep digging because we have district education officers, which are tenure positions for 4 years. And we have county education officers, which I'm finding are also tenure position for 4 years. They can serve up to 8 years. And the minister of the county education boards appoint district education boards. And the county education boards are supposed to nominate people to be the county education officer, but that process has not been working. There's not the way it's been the legislative caucus that select those people. So I'm digging deeper. I'm going to call some teachers in Liberia, some principals. I'm going to pick their brains as we get ready for our show after the inauguration. These are some of the things we're going to be discussing. People just pass laws and they just sit there, and other people do something completely different from what the law says.
And I think
let me ask you this, let me ask you this. So with the process you just explained, who, if they had gone through correctly, who were going to be benefiting?
It would benefit entire Liberia, but mainly the rural side of Liberia will start to benefit from what the elites in Monrovia has been benefiting from. MCSS school, the consolidation of school system, allows for, so you break it down in chunks, and it allows for efficient supervision, because the district educational officer is in charge of a school district. So in East County, for example, you were just naming those statutory districts in Grand Juliet. Say Bazon got to consider the school system, and then the other people got to consider the school system. Then the county now will look at which school system is working better based on outcomes, based on scores, based on grades. And then you have as a board that these people report to the board, and the board is made out of local citizenry. As a matter of fact, it's in the law that only local people can serve on those boards. So imagine people in Bazon serving on the Bazon consolidated school district board, where the children are going to school, and they are telling the administrator what they need, and the administrator is leading the principals. And as those schools are failing by WIAC, those people are holding the administrators responsible and accountable, knowing that you as the district education officer, you are answerable to the school board, and the school board are those poor people sitting in Bazon. It creates accountability. It creates people to understand that I'm not accountable to Monrovia. I'm accountable to these people. So to answer your question short, the people in those towns and villages benefit the most. And you find that education becomes decentralized, and people will be held to account.
So, Sese, Mr. Todd, just to add to that, it's good. He says working on something, and this is why we intend to do this 2024 on LPR, make it a little bit different, and try to visit area and have a conversation on every sector of our society that is so vital. Now, this is a clear indication of the short handicap or the handicap of the functionaries of government. And this is not only for the executive branch of government. We have the first branch of government. There are committees in both houses, the Senate, responsible to do a follow-up with all of these things. They don't just put it together. When they put it together, these bills or these new provisions are submitted to these committees in both houses. What they should do, call these authority, have a hearing, whatever put forward, if it is workable, you put it into action and it's implemented. But they don't care. Everybody just either look at the Ministry of Finance, NPA, and government is an institution, big. You can't have one side functioning and the other side functioning, and you say you want to have the effectiveness of government. That's not going to work. So it is good that these sort of things, people in that area with the expertise, they are visiting it, and people are going to be called, because it seems to be that our mind is being driven to one side of government, thus leaving another side paralyzed completely and killing the society. If the educational side, if it has not been focused on, then this is a clear indication the problem that we are having today.
But even when the law got passed, if you
2011, and we talked
in our chat room, the objectives of the act, I don't want to run through all of them, but the first one say ensure the provision of quality education to all citizens at every level of the educational structure. Promote equal access to educational opportunities for all Liberians without discrimination of any kind. The part I want to read mostly, it says decentralize the educational system so that it has a maximum effect throughout the country.
Throughout.
That is one of the objectives. Decentralized for maximum effect. And that's the reason you got this thing broken down into school districts. And then you got a county board, and then you got a district boards. And then you have, so I lead one district. Say I'm in Konambo. I lead one district. I got maybe 10, 15 schools under me. And somebody else is in another region. They lead us in 10, 15 schools. Now the county education officer oversee all of us, and the county education board oversee all of us, because they supervise the county education officer, because they are citizens. The county education officer is suggested, but appointed by the minister through the president. But the board is a localized board, because people got vested interest in their county and in their district. So if my district is failing, say the one high school in my district, the children are failing, or they don't have enough resources. When it rains, the zinc is not in the building, and the children are not going to school. The other people in the other districts are making fun. The county education officers, but they may not qualify. What is he doing here? Why are your children not going to school? Why are your children performing below? So then you have levels of accountability. Even before you get to the ministry proper, the accountability is already here within the county.
And so, sister, if I'm going wrong here, I think the word decentralized there is used for the specific reason to make sure everyone fully participate in the process. It almost as not really equivalent, but measurable to. Remember George Bush's here, no child left behind education. It's another version of it. It might not be up to that standard, but when they're talking about decentralization, we shouldn't just only prioritize school within the Monrovia suburbs or in the capital. We're talking about all schools in the length and breadth of the Republic of Liberia, whatever it is. So this is a clear indication that there's a complete revision needed in the not just education, the health, and all of our sectors, be it the agriculture. People need to go out there to do a study, to do a survey, and find the bottleneck problem to this thing so that government to be able to address it, and not just understand people and then they bring out survey, they bring out the issue, and then you just put it there, go in another sitting room for another government to come. No, when people work on this is why people do surveys, to determine the fault of issues and how to find solution. But most often we see it doesn't happen. People talk about it is not implemented, no follow up, and we just get distracted. If every sector began to really work and produce and make findings available to central government, trust me, people will be out of work.
So, Cesar, can you also address the financing of this operation that you're talking about? Did they address that at all, or they left that up with?
The address that would be it's still through the regular budgetary allocation through the Ministry of Education and national budget, but they're not even talking about pay for these boards. But I know they get paid. But for me, what struck me is, so for example, when you're looking at the establishment of the school board systems, it says there is thereby established a consolidated school system in each county of Liberia to function and operate in a manner similar to that of the Monrovia Consolidated School System. So there is thereby established county school board for each county of the Republic of Liberia, whose offices shall be situated within the county headquarters. The model used shall be patterned after the MCSS and provide. So now you got, so for example, one of the functions: facilitate, monitor, oversees the operation of all schools in the local county and school system in accordance with the guidelines and policies and regulations promulgated by the ministry. So the county school board facilitates, monitor, oversee the operation of all schools in the local county. That is what the law says. And they work in tangent with the chief education officer of the county, who is charged with the management of the daily operation of the schools. Just like it's done here, Mr. So, the superintendent of schools deal with the day-to-day activity of the school, oversight of the school. The school board that people run for, they have fiduciary responsibility. They give their superintendent a marching order. That's exactly what they set up here. But sadly, our people in the county that are supposed to be empowered by this have not been empowered. And so you still got education officers still being selected by legislative caucuses. And our poor people still don't have the authority they're supposed to have.
Yeah, so quickly here, Sissy, I have not had a chance to review that, but from what you have seen so far, this emphasizing on there, it seems to be something that you find interesting. Do you see this as an attainable goal, effective for the country, if it is supported, embraced, and allow the process to play out is there? Do you see it as something sustainable for the educational system in Liberia?
I think that's one step to check and balance. I think that's one step to holding people accountable. Because, you know, what bothers me, and I've been saying it a lot of the time, and I'm not talking public schools for now. The further away you move from the city center, the lower the level of quality of education you get from public schools. As you go deeper and deeper into the countryside, the urban and rural gap, the achievement gap, the opportunity gap widens a lot. So if you have these localized, decentralized structures where you can start to look at data at a very micro level, at a granular level and be able to figure out, because one thing that's affecting a student in Zaza district, for which Zaza district is scoring low, might not be the same thing in Konabo district, but you have the chance to look at them and be able to look at localized a solution to those processes. Now, I'm not a big fan of the current MCSS because I know people can kill me on that, but the model as it was envisioned before the war was a good model. To have a school system that deals with students within a confined geographic location and have a board and a superintendent, I think it's a great model. Now, we just need to rethink on how instruction happens, but that's not what I'm discussing. I'm just looking at the model itself. The model is a great model. It allows for accountability. It allows for local ownership of education. And when local people own anything, it becomes their school. That Konabo High School, they don't throw around what I was saying, that our building here, that our this. It becomes the people thing. And anything people can take control of, they love it that much more, they take care of it that much more. And I think that was the intent of this law. But sadly, with all the educated people we have in Madam Salih's government that pushed this law to pass, and all of the qualified people in the CDC government are supposed to be pro-poor, this thing is laying down somebody.
So you think say this thing is failing because the localized employment is not there, which would have invited people who then would be working in those areas, making money and spending towards their kids' education.
And I get a say in my child's education.
Right.
You know how power we are here in America. You know what that means. You get a say in your child's education. You are on the board. You are on the school board. You are in Konabo. Yeah, man. You know what I'm trying to, you understand what I'm trying to say? At that point, when we are talking about education and I'm on the board and I have not been to a formalized European school system, but I know something about a certain kind of trees, a certain kind of sap, which sap should not touch your clothes because it cannot leave. And when it's stick there, the little sap can take it from there, those chemistry things. I start asking my chemistry teacher, are you teaching my children this thing? And then when I'm thinking about my hometown when we build monkey bridges.
Yes.
All my parents start asking, but you're teaching about monkey bridge in the school? It becomes localized. If you're in Swakoko, we start asking, you ain't talking about Madame Swakoko. If you're in it becomes local. I don't know. I read this today. I felt bad, really deeply inside, because this is what all educators.
You can't even get to that, Sissy. If your history book is written by A. Dory Banks Henry, what you gonna get out of it? Not, so he was
in hearings, right? Yeah, he was in hearings. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to another subject matter. Let's go into politics. And the first question to Mr. So will be, we're not ready yet. The first question to Mr. So, Carter, I'm running the show tonight. I'm not picking your call. That's Walter Carter. I'm running the show, Mr. So, because he's not seeing Mr. So here, he calling. Blue. Mr. So is not running the show. I'm running the show. I just let him talk. But anyway, let me ask you, Mr. So, on a very serious note. The list that I saw on Front Page Africa, and I'm not saying that's the real list, okay? But from all indication, most likely a few people from that list will make it to the government. The sister representation is something that I think.
What representation?
Sisters, ladies, women representation on that list, on the pictures. And they only have, I think, 6 or 7 out of almost 20 something. So I think if you were somehow recommending to Ambassador Barker in terms of his pick, and don't say that women might not be good, if everybody is qualified equally, what would you say to Ambassador Barker so that everyone, the entire process will be inclusive, as he has been saying?
Look, we've got to be careful here. It's a national government. It's a government that is about to take office. In as much you want this sort of equality, the representations of everybody. I do not know the process, the vetting process, people that they are trying to place in these positions. It would be premature to even really jump on that list. People get a way of speculating. People get a way of, anybody can throw that thing there to see the actual reactions of the public and begin to kind of do their own scrutinizings and all of that. But let's wait and see how many days we get to go. With ultimately the final list is going to come out, and I'm quite sure the president-elect is aware what is out there in terms of the expectation. The thing they talk about, people should lower expectation. That expectation will not be low. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of folks, people like Milton Tiage they're lobbying hard to go to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Give me a break. This is a guy, lawmaker, who can even win re-election. This is a guy who was in the first branch of government and admitted on camera that they're giving people a job because what they hope to get in return. In other countries, when you talk about internal affairs or home affairs ministry, that's a very, very critical, that's a very vital arm of government. Somebody who already talks about bribery, and that's how they can get people. So, to be honest, this is a tough one for the ambassador, for the president-elect. And part of that is when people support you, they need some sort of political deal cut at the end of the day. All of these people, you see them crossing, endorsing, it's not because they are doing it for the good of the country. They want to do it ultimately to see what is in there for them. So in as much, I'm getting nervous in the sense that he makes sure they shouldn't take advantage of situation. I'm waiting to see those officials, announce, and see what happens. We want to take the ambassador, the president-elect of his word. You're going to be a government of inclusiveness, non-unity party government. Now see, everybody going to be involved. He's going to tap into the expertise of people who will be able to get the job. And so for the benefit of the doubt, we're going to give that and see if it will be done, because this is going to be a game changer. This appointment that hopefully to be made, and some of the things, he is the head of the government, and we're going to see what's going to happen. So I know there's no way that we can talk about them, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see whether there are other people, maybe there are other people out there that we do not know, but they get a way of saying somebody can be within the inner cycle and just throw something there and wait and see the reaction. But it's good that we are discussing it, because that will put them into check as well to say, oh, wait a minute, you look at X, Y. What is dangerous is something in as much caliber, some of his stuff can be stuff, is for people to network, to take the lead, to start vetting people and putting other people down. I think there's a committee. The president said that there's a committee, vetting process committee. These people should allow these things. And some of those people who are already in the inner cycle of the president-elect should avoid going on major networks and start saying things, this other person not doing this other group not doing that. I think they should be able to come together as a body, as a group, and sort out these things. Because when you start going up, everybody will want to defend his or her title. If I come here and start going gut-out against you, you think you just want to sit down here? You like this? We want to talk a little small thing, then you flip up? I mean, let's be honest. So, and this is where I had a disagreement with Molo. In as much as you can be the one there to say, I know all God, I'm 100% perfect, and you want to castigate or you want to make other people to look like the bad guy, then of course they will fight back. And when you in that group and you try to position yourself as the King Kong, as the giant of that group, guess what? Sooner or later, they're going to sideline you, because you've got to know how to play the game.
So, same question to you, specifically the ladies, the female prospect in terms of employment in this government at the higher level. Do you think Ambassador Barkai perhaps will look more deeper to find qualified young ladies that will be able to occupy the position, just like he's doing with the qualified men as well?
Well, I think it would be a shame if it doesn't look deeper. I mean, I don't even think you need to look deeper. There are a lot of qualified Liberian women out here, and it's just going to depend on who are the gatekeepers around him that will make it difficult for him to see. Because sometimes the lens you're looking through can determine what you see or don't see. People start building too much, gates around you and keeping out qualified people because they're afraid of competition. Then it's going to be difficult for him to see the plethora of qualified Liberian women we have, both at home and in the diaspora. And I would really hope that this government will see that we have come a long way. This is not 1960 where it was not fashionable for women to go to school, so it was difficult to find very many educated Liberian women. We have a lot, and I think him and his team should look deeper into that, and then making sure that the agencies and ministries of government that they're appointing women to, it's not just going to be doing things for nominal. Those places that have very limited powers. I hope that he puts them in position of trust, and let him bring forth blessings to the motherland, because I think there are a lot of Liberian women out there that can do a lot more really competent, qualified job for our country.
I see. Okay. So let me come back to you. Saying we stay in the same room as the women. During the election, we saw some outstanding young women that were on the other side of the United Party or Ambassador Barker position. The like of Yakula, what's her name? Yakula Mariah Yakula, the likes of Madam Bronsky, and many other young ladies, even that are still working for the CDC government, but that you don't hear much of in terms of their involvement into misbehaving in terms of money and what have you. You think Ambassador Barker needs to open those up for these young women as well, those that were on the other side, that they should come in and contribute, the like of Tella Ure and everybody else?
You really won't put me in trouble tonight.
You're not a liberal.
But if I'm being honest, though,
and the reason I'm asking this, let me just bust it right now. The reason I'm asking you, you have been involved into local politics. You have seen and you try to take that local politics stuff and transfer it to the national politics here in the United States. And I was wondering as to have you seen Ambassador Barker in action and all of his speeches that he's been making? Do you think that he has it within him to actually truly be inclusive by inviting those folks from the other side as well?
So without being specific to any of the names you call, I'm going to speak in generality. I think
this is my first time. Bike parlor here tonight like nothing else.
Because I'm thinking through the first 10 answers that come in my head. None of them sound. I was speaking generalities.
Okay, we'll take it.
I think it will do the president-elect well to bring on board every Liberian that's qualified. Qualified being the key word, not just popular. Because in Liberia, we tend to equate the two. Somebody who is popular as somebody who is qualified. I'm hoping that the president-elect appoints people who have a unique qualification in certain things. So that you're not just calling people because they get name brand, you put in places that they have never, they got no history of ever working in such industry or in such area. You're trying to fit a round peg in a square hole simply because they got name recognition. I will frown on that. What I would ask for, what I would hope is that the vice president, as he's expanding his net, that he's getting people that have a unique understanding of the places he wants to put them, so that they are the arrowheads of these places that you put them. I don't just want to appoint somebody because they are loud mouth and they can talk too much on Facebook. I don't hope he does that for anybody, irrespective of what name. I don't hope he does that. But I think quite too often in Liberia we forget that. And this is not just Joseph Nyambaga government alone. It's happened in Ellen. It's happened in Wias. Is they pick people simply because you pick the loud mouth, the empty drum that make the loudest noise. You put them on, and they have no unique skill set. And you have qualified Liberians sitting down that have an understanding, a unique understanding of the functionaries that you told these people and loud mouth and put them in. So for me, whether it is a Ure or a Yakula or whomever, or everybody else that's being out there and a Bromsky or anybody else, if they are qualified for the position and give it to them. If they beat anybody else, give it to them. But for me, here's one thing as a human being, I'm going to be very truthful to you. You can be as magnanimous as you want to be. If you wish me dead, or you wish I was dead, why would I want you to be in my cabinet? Because that is not politics anymore.
Yeah, look, seriously, and to on it, I know what this guy is going. He's always like to appease or be so consolatory. This is not a factional government to say, okay, everybody must be.
Since when you become part of us to try now to give us good advice.
You see, these are the people who want to get close to the ambassador. They will not listen to people. That's exactly what he's doing here. The question he wants to ask, he's not too brave, he's not too strong to ask that question. So he tries to do it as sort of salad dressing way and just throw it at you. Look, the liberal, this is not a faction, it's not a day of yesterday where you have warring factions and they put together. It becomes a compelling situation. Everybody got to bring people and put them into government. No. He wants to make sure people that believes in his vision for the country, people that he will be able to work with him, not because you are opposition. So it's no. Yeah, I mean he said it, but he has to be very, very, very careful. If you think, okay, because this happened, I got to bring every little dick and turn from this side and put them and make it a government, because so they say, oh yeah, this man is forgiving. Oh yeah, this is a unit. No, that's not united government we are forming. Election took place. The people of Liberia made a decision. They elected him. So we will hold him accountable. Whoever he brings in government, I'm not suggesting that he shouldn't go outside. He said already, but look, everybody's going to be involved. But it's not going to be on a family line, correct? It's not going to be based on friendship. But if you are competent, if you're trustworthy, the track record is there, there will be some people when they call them, everybody will burst into flame. It's too early. You don't want your government to be distracted, to be engulfed with sort of drama because you bring in Alfonso. And when Alfonso get there, you're going to be. But this guy, he's somebody who can't even do the job, or he has issue, and then you just bring him on. So it's resting.
Let me ask you this, Mr.
How the government people should be careful.
Since you're now seeing the light, the clear light and the clear daylight that Ambassador Baka indeed is a unifier, and now you are on board with us. We appreciate it. But let me ask you this.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, whatever advice, you're not with us, but you're giving us good advice, and we'll take it. But let me ask you this. On the list, they have just a minister. The first person name they're talking about is Councillor Tiawan Gonglo. So Tiawan Gonglo, they call him the poor people lawyer. It's in the paper. Do you think Tiawan Gonglo, having gone toe-to-toe, no pun intended, with Ambassador Bakai, do you think he now should accept, if he was asked to accept to serve Ambassador Bakai in this capacity as just a minister? And if so, one of the things they said was that he's very tough in terms of law, respect the rule and law. And according to the paper, many people in the Unity Party frown on that because they think being tough at this time does not put forth any kinds of unity within the outgoing and the incoming. But the question that I'm asking you is, should he, first of all, should he accept to serve under Ambassador Barker? And should he, if he agreed to serve, should he weaken his own stand on law and order, Mr. So? It's a tough question coming to you this evening.
It's not a tough question. So you're making it tough for yourself. First of all, we saw what happened here with Kamala Harris and that of Joe Biden. Kamala Harris was in the throat of Joe Biden. And so when Joseph Boyka, president-elect, if he ultimately to go by Georgia for discussion purposes, if he agrees to go by that law, I mean to go whatever list that is coming out here to name Councilor Tiawanse Gonglo, everyone knows it. Tiawanse Gonglo would be a, and that's what he needs. Right now, you need a tough chief law enforcer in that country. And one of the presidents that I can say, because he has said it, there's a trash record. He never held back. He criticized the president-elect during the campaign. And those were things that he strongly believes, though else within the law enforcement, which is his area of expertise. So bringing somebody, the reason Unity Party people are doing what they are doing, some of them, if not, it's, who's that? Who are you calling? Liberal, you calling Tiawan?
Go ahead. I'm calling the president-elect.
The reason other people are getting nervous now is because Councilor Tiawanse Gonglo will prosecute those who need to be prosecuted or prosecute those who violate the law. And people do not like that. So this is why you're going to see they're going to be kicking against other people here, because when he takes that, no one going to be above the law. The breakdowns of these systems, some of these endless judicial investigations, police doing whatever they want to do, people's civil liberties being infringed, and all of those kind of things. Hopefully because his background as a human rights advocate, there will be that sort of measure line as well to make sure that the police system is well equipped. And I think he will be a perfect choice. Whether he's going to accept, well, it's up to him. But when he is called to serve his country, I don't think he should say, oh, because I didn't win the election. If they call him in good faith, not all because they want to make this sort of accommodation and there's a bad guy talk, okay, let's just bring that after 1 week, 2 weeks, we're going to kick that out. That's a different thing. So, but when he's called in faith, if I were the president, you would place a phone call to him, have a conversation, see whether he's in line with and hear from him. Normally, that's how it goes. You don't just get to appoint people. You call them, you talk to them, they give you a talk, they're going to discuss it and say, hey, you in line with what I'm saying? Yes. However, if this going X, Y, Z, I will look in your face and tell you, say this is wrong. But I think Councilor Tiawan Gongo will be it will be a good choice.
Thank you.
Among many other Liberians that prefer that.
Thank you. I knew it was a very tough question for you. I have CDC Walter Carter is on the line, representing CDC.
Wow.
Walter Carter, thank you for joining us.
How can you describe people like that, Samson?
Well, Mr. So, I'm running my show. I said CDC Walter Carter. Walter Carter, thank you for joining us, CDC Master. We're discussing the list and everything else, Liberia. What's on your mind?
1 second, please.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Walter Carter, go ahead.
So first of all, I've been calling. Sending you text to send me the link. Unfortunately, I've been sending you text to send me the link, but unfortunately, you did not see my text. Or
I saw your text, but I saw CDC Walter Carter, so I ignore it. You know, CDC and myself, we don't get along. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't see it. But go ahead.
Yeah.
So I can bring this in.
Yeah, I like the conversation about the moreover consolidated school system and brother sister.
You won't be French tonight.
and brother.
What
if I'm trying to get me off track? Yeah, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that my brother tried to put forth, do his research on the MCC. I think it's long overdue. I think it was a disservice to our people, the vast majority of our nation. One time we spoke on this network and other network, that 85% of our population was illiterate, and people try to dispute it, is because the people that put our system together were concerned about Monserrato. In fact, Morovia to be specific. And so they turned their back on the hinterland. And so this law that came, that was put together, according to Sister, I have not seen it since 2011, to the extent where our own indigenous people that were in office could not even push this law to have some kind of impact on our people in the rural area. But I think it's a good conversation now, moving forward, when the new administration come, which is a Bwaka being an indigenous person, and I think hands on with his people. I think Sissy and other people can push this narrative. We all can push it,
Well,
so that
let me
our
ask
people
you
can
this.
have.
Let me ask you this. You made a very good statement. President Waka coming in, an indigenous president. So, President, we are now indigenous president. Oh, you can hear me? Oh. Can you hear me?
Well, President we did what President we had to do by renovating and building more schools. I'm hearing you kind of a low, but I'm hearing you.
Okay.
So what we had to do, he built schools, he renovated a lot of schools. But I think we need a system, and the law that were put in place to have impact on the Greater Liberia in the sense that those places that were deserted, those places that were marginalized for so long, that they should have the school system, and the system should have its own control, so that people can learn about the environment in ways that they understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good thing, and we can push the narrative. I know on this network we will bring in representatives and senators that, I mean, we can push this kind of idea on. Even the present MCC man, our own man, Mr. Zawolo. We can start contacting him and see if that's something they can buy. And who knows whether he will be there or he will be replaced. But these are conversations that is very important. It's very real. Our country for so long, the vast majority of our people have been deprived education, and people think it's funny. That's the reason why when it comes to the election, we talk about educating our people. They don't know how to vote. They will ask you some questions that you say you wonder if these people are living in the 21st century or not, because the lack of knowledge. And we have to do that. We have to continue to inform our people about the education, and push government to do the right thing. You can build all the hospitals, you can build all the roads, but if our people are not educated, they are not going to make use of those things. And I agree with Dawes, they don't want that. He said you can build a beautiful parks, you can do as much as you want to improve the country infrastructure, but if you don't educate the minds of the people, those things will mean nothing to them. So, I mean, as far as the politics side, what Brother say brought on is not politics, it's the reality. We know our people, vast majority of them, they were denied education. And I think we should discuss that on a fair note. But on the political side, right? Let's go to the political side. I don't want to
bring. Hold on. Before you bring the political side, since we're on a good flat ground right now, let me just make that point quickly. I think Sensei need to continue to do his research, because that will bring you sedition on the flat ground and able to understand what we've been saying for the last 3 years, and then perhaps you will be able to understand exactly what is happening. But thank you for you now seeing the light. I think the election is over. Your head is clearing up a little bit, and Sissy will continue.
You will really be a very bad emissary.
Hold on. I know you'll make a correction, but one of these days, that Sissy research will also bring the like of breakable, and so that he will be on the C side as everyone else. Go ahead, make a correction, and I'll bring Sissy in.
I don't have to be on the side of Unity Party. I want to be on the side of Liberian people that have been always.
Unity Party.
Okay, so you said this. So this is the thing about my advocacy, right? This is the thing about my advocacy, and a lot of people find it offensive, but that's the reality. And, I travel around other countries like Ivory Coast. I worked 7 years in Ivory Coast, to the remote part of Ivory Coast. I saw schools. I saw, oui, je parle français bien même.
Okay,
So
don't
I
forget
saw
it.
school, I saw current, I saw water. At the same time, I saw people going to their farms and their children were going to regular school. But when you cross the border into Liberia, there's a place called Berale. Maybe
Yeah,
my brother
yeah, Berale.
Alfonso so will know the era. You don't find schools in the era. Right across the road in Ivorian side, you see schools, really nice schools, and people living good. How is it our country, you know, that surely like to Ivory Coast, about governance and stuff like that, deny its people. And that's the problem that we got to talk about. It has nothing to do with politics. It has something to do with promoting our country, promoting our education in Liberia, so that we can gain back that status in African society. Because
Thank
people
you.
went to Liberia for education, but what they didn't realize, the education was only in Monrovia. They didn't realize that the education was not all over the country, was only in Monrovia. So that's why I said, let's come to the politics of it, right? I hear people talking about the listing. And this the thing, right? I don't want to, as far as I'm concerned, moving forward, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to buy into what Front Page Africa say, what the other person put out there. I think Joseph Boakai has a level head, and if he appoint people or try to get a listing for his cabinet or trying to create a cabinet list, I think it will come from the Unity Party government. They will put it out there. They will call the media. They will have a press conference. They will post stuff out there for people to yay. But for people to just start picking names and pictures and putting it out, I think it's not something for us to start discussing. Well, these names are interesting names, but again, I don't want to buy into it until I see or hear the official statement from Unity Party-led government through Joseph Boakai or whoever he will designate to put those names out there for us to start talking about them. Until then, it would just be, we in the corner gossiping here. We're trying to put our gossip. But I want to be very fair to Joseph Boakai. He won an election, and I think in the interest of peace, tranquility, and to move our country forward.
To President Boakai.
So
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Liberal, what's the problem?
I will criticize him if he does not do those things that he said he's gonna do. But at this point, I don't want to be critical of him.
Okay, thank you. Let me go to Sissy.
Man, I have to come to Keto rescue here because this is why.
Now you ready to use the word rescue? Well, we've been fighting for rescue here for the last 3 years. Now you ready to use the word rescue? Go ahead.
The people not even know you, so I don't know why they. I think Keto he's making a very good.
That's what he said, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, he's making a. I don't know why he would try to be like you already want. Do not behave like the CDC. You still find yourself in the campaign mode. By this time, you liberal, I'll expect you to be pounding on this president-elect vision for the country, how you're going to be attained, how you're going to be achieved, and all of that. But you're still in a dream world, and that's not fair to Keto.
Okay, thank you. Let me go to Sissy. Sissy,
there you
on
go.
A very serious note, you heard a guy die-hard sedition. I'm not too sure whether we are sharing or but he's sedition. But he seriously saying some things here that I was a little bit, to be honest, a little bit surprised to say that our people have been deprived for so long. I think this researcher is doing some real number. With him saying those things, what are some of the things that are going through your mind as he was speaking?
Well, but all politics aside, the man, my brother got some level heads. So he still owe my money here. So that I say him pay me, I can still come after him. But they
want money. How much that man owe you? So we do go for me.
Owe my money. Get them pay me.
How much so we put a go for?
You want to go for me?
A lot of money.
I've been hearing about this money. I don't know the amount. I don't know how much is it. I don't know how you talking.
That's society money. But
they let me inside the bush.
on a serious note, look, in almost every civilized culture, And when I say civilized, I'm not saying modernized, because there's a difference. In almost every civilized culture, the elites, and this is not tribal, it's not sectional, it's just people who have access to power. It is always for their continual survival, in the interest of their continual survival, to keep other people illiterate. It is a tool of maintaining yourself in power. It's happened with the great Chinese dynasties. It's happened in England. It's happened here in the United States. Remember, for a long time, it was illegal for Black people to read in this country. And even with the passage of the civil law, with the civil rights, we started having schools here that were separate. You had white owner schools and Black owner schools, and they were not equal, to an extent where the Supreme Court had to rule, Brown v. Board of Education and Brown v. Board Topeka, Kansas, that separate was not equal. So I think what my brother is saying here is not something new. The problem we have in our culture in Liberia is that we hate to hear the truth. And the minute you start to speak the truth, people start to label you as either a nativist, a tribalist, and all the other pieces. But I think until we can come to a truthful reckoning, to really recognize, you talked about the history books written by A. Doris Banks Henry. I read that book in high school. I read Michael Draper, the indigenous man running after this lady with her baby on her back, and he's wanting to chop her with a machete. We read those books in Lofa County. So traditionally, the countryside, those places that took forever to have a representation in government, even though they were being taxed. Because by the way, Lofa County did not have senators and representatives, was they paying taxes. So we were being taxed without representation. Remember the whole reason why people wasted a lot of tea in the Boston Harbor? Taxation without representation? It was happening in Liberia. And so education for a long time was meant for the few. That's the reason you built a university that looked like a 3-bedroom house, because you didn't expect a lot of people to go to it. And so Kato is right. And I think that is the reason Article 6 of our Constitution talks about educational equity. It is in our Constitution, Article 6. And so I think at some point in time, we have to just take all these different identities away and look at the bare bone, the thing that's happening. I told you the other day, Mr. So and Mr. To, I'm from Lofa County. When you talk about education, you talk about Lofa County a lot, right? We like to go to school, let us go to school. But in Lofa County, if you must get anything beyond an associate degree, you have to leave Lofa County. We don't have more than 3 government schools, high schools in Lofa County. And you're telling me that's equal? And you're telling me that's fair? So I think Keto is speaking to a larger issue that I agree with him with. But sadly, once you start to say those things, and I will not be surprised, my inbox will be full tomorrow with my brothers and sisters that will be calling me a nativist, a tribalist. But sometimes we got to call the facts and find a solution. Nobody living today is responsible for the system. It was put in place by other people. And we have to account for the historical harm that system did to other people and try to fix that before we can move on together as a nation. And I think that is what this law tried to do. Sadly, it got signed, sealed, and put in somebody's valise and put under the bed.
Valise. I've not heard that term for a very long time. Valise. We call it FIC. But anyway. Okay. All right. Let's we got about a few more minutes here. Let's try to wrap it up here. But let me push. Not push, but let me move forward on that a little bit. Sissy. When you're talking about people trying to this law was supposed to rectify it or try to bring some equilibrium in some system. You think this law would have actually brought in some equilibrium if it was implemented fairly?
If it was fairly implemented, I think it was a beginning place. I think I shouldn't say was because it's still a law. I think it is a good starting point. Because, for example, it even talks about the local school board coming up, being responsible for creating a budget of their school districts and sending it to the ministry. So, hey man, you know, sometimes when I say this,
so that's pretty much what I was saying earlier about this role in these different districts.
Yes, I imagine sitting down. Look, when I was a young kid, my late grandfather was the chief zoo in our town, in our entire region. When they used to call for a meeting, and we gather in the center of the town, in the town square, in the Palava house, in the kitchen, and those people were sitting there, we discussing town issues. Sometimes about building a bridge, or sometimes about brushing the roads. The men got to come together. We got to decide how we're brushing the roads. People own those roads. The fact that people sat down and decided how to build those bridges, we'll go cut the logs and we'll work together. We're small then. We'll be carrying the rock for the police shopping. They'll call us and go and carry the thing. But it was a pride of the town. When we brushed those roads, Mr. Saul, nobody poo-poo on those roads because those roads were the town roads. Mm-hmm. When a man is coming from the village and he sees some grass is overgrowing the road, he stops and he cuts it. Because there was a national, a communal ownership. I remember we used to have communal farms.
Yes.
My father made me to learn all of these things. To tell me, you go to Katiwa, you go to Lufagande. Every vacation I go to Lufagande. Because I had to learn these things. And so when I'm thinking about this structure of district education boards coming up with their budgets and determining what they will spend their money on for their children, and these people are sitting down in the village square in a circle discussing about their school, you think anybody will go steal any generator they buy and put it to the school? No, because they belong to the town. And when a teacher comes to town and that teacher has not been paid, like it used to happen in Lofa County, the local people, we used to go, the students should go make fun for the teacher because they wanted the teacher to stay. The town people made it mandatory for people to go work on the teacher's farm because those were their teachers, those were their own. That is what this thing was intended to create. I saw this thing today, it really bothered me. Really, this thing bothered me because you can sense the spirit that this was meant to garner. But sadly, like with many things in Liberia, is laying down somewhere.
So, Sophie, I think additionally, I think, and that's the point that Liberal have been making here. And this law here, this provision here, it commensurate with all of the argument that Liberal. I don't agree with him, but I'm a guy that when he does it the right way, I tell him it's not like he who always pretend. Remember here when you're talking about roles and things, the community should get involved. Community should get involved. This is another aspect that it is time the national government should be able to return this municipal leadership to the people. And that's what I say. So remember those days, people used to, when you're living from BI going to town, there's a place, all of these towns, these villages, people are responsible to do the brushing.
Right.
You stop to your point, the other people pick it up, they take it, and you will see the rows are visible. There was something on the right side, you will see it. Why is this missing now? What is lacking? Now, when people, the decentralized there is equipped of people taking responsibility of their own, get them to involve. That's the point you've been making here. But you said in Monrovia and you want to regulate someone in Lofa County, in Sano, in Grand Gita, when the people that the direct beneficiaries, they are not part of the process. You make decisions for them, you throw it at them, and you expect them to implement zero. I'm not going to listen to you. I heard you were saying, you're telling me to go with you. It's the same way here. These organizations operate here. They say they are the donors. They don't include the people into the conversation to say, hey, what do you need? Even though we want to provide it, but what you want for the community. Hear from them. You don't impose your will on people, because when you do that, it's going to be misdirected, because you're not accommodating their ideas. You are unable to identify their own plight. You're not going to tell somebody that he or she needs slipper. Ask them if they need it, then you give it. Well, you look at it, man, you need slipper to wear. You need transit. That's not his priority. So I think it is time this decentralizations of national government, people should be able to take responsibility over their own people. This returning this municipal leadership to the community is good. City mayor, those days, commissioner chief, when my women were voting, people used to stand in queue. They know the people in the community. But you just appoint some kind of person who are not even being there, who nobody knows you send there, they're not going to listen to you. And that's why it's happening now, because these city mayors and people, they appoint them. Go see how the towns and those cities they look there. They don't even clean their own dome of the thing. They're going to can't go clean any sort of a community chief compound or city mayor compound. No, because you just throw somebody at these people. So I think it is time, if we really want to make progress, some high court national conversation needs to take place and some tough decision needs to be made. People will feel bad down the road. But guess what? When they wake up the next day, sunlight touched them, they will be okay.
Thank you. I don't agree.
I know you're feeling bad now. You're thinking that
I don't agree with you because they're coming from a conservative. If it was a liberal who making those statements, even though the statements are quite correct and they make sense, but the fact they're coming from you as a conservative, I don't agree with it.
Well, you're not agreeing. It's not even important. You're not agreeing. It's nothing. You're not doing anything.
All right. Let me go to let me go to Carter to give us a closing. Carter, give us. Somebody else is calling. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Let me take this. Okay, still. Oh, Carter here. He's supposed to. Sorry. Let me call him back. Okay. Let Carter make a closing, and then I will come to you guys.
You'll be taking other calls and be hanging up on everybody.
Papa, not know about modern technology.
Don't worry about it. Baka and myself together.
Okay.
Carter, are you there?
Facto.
Yeah, give us your closing so we can go to the gentleman.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What will be your closing?
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. CDC Carter.
Yeah. So I think it's important. I think it's important that we elevate that conversation because it will benefit our country. And on the political side, once we get serious information from the House's mouth, which is the incoming government, and then we can discuss the different appointments and stuff like that. But there are some trending issues in the country that are making headwaves, and I see this network, especially Ono, Mr. Tool. At this point, he tried to sideline it. We heard Yeka Kaluba yesterday,
right,
going ballistic on the incoming president and some of his
liquor talk.
And he refused to talk about it.
I talked about it yesterday. We talk about it.
We need to discuss these issues because we need to discuss because it's real. I think Yeka Kaluba is finding it difficult because being in the ruling establishment now, it's gonna be hard for him knowing the fact that seditions or CDC are oppositions, and it's gonna be difficult. So he's finding a way to win seditions heart, and he's doing the wrong thing by attacking Joseph Boakai administration, who has not even taken office.
Thank you for that wonderful.
Who has not taken office?
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think it's a sad thing.
Yeah.
But again, we have to continue talking about it.
Yeah, thank you. We'll talk about it. I think it makes sense to talk about it. But thank you very much.
Wow, why are you running over there?
Okay. Good night, Chief. Yeah, he makes sense. Makes an excellent point. Let's hear from you, and then Mr. So can take us home.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm also in that lane where I'm choosing not to comment on speculations. But just to get my brother kept up, because I like to complete the soup. When you're cooking the food, don't stop halfway. And Akara's grade, the CDC loudmouth buffoon, did also speak. Well, Keto said the wrong thing. They're trying to win people out the wrong way, but they got their own resident, whatever it is there. And he is speaking about making sure that the Senate and the House does not have a quorum so they can stop Joseph Boakai from being inaugurated. And so if he's not inaugurated, then the speaker gets to run the country. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is a guy that said he was a high school teacher. Mm-hmm. God, we got a lot of things to fix in our country. That's what I'm going to say.
Thank you. Mr. So, what will be your closing? That is, if you have any at all.
If I what?
If you have any closing statement at all.
I don't.
Okay, close it then. Go ahead.
I don't have.
What do you mean you don't have? You've been on my show for almost 20 minutes and you got no closing?
So then why will you put a label on it if I have at all? You didn't. Why you didn't ask to say that question?
Mr. So, we're not in a courthouse. I'm running a show. Please give us your closing.
Okay. Again, thank you, everyone, and all of our follower listeners. This is what we intend to do. We need to do it differently this year. It doesn't matter whether you voted for or against. Everything is about the good of the country, and we must be fair into our analysis and how we go about to discuss the country. And I hopefully, we're going to take a holistic review of the entire set of governance, not just only these who want to be the Minister of Finance and this and that. Look at what CCC is talking about here today. The education is a greater and bigger interest of the entire the survival of the country, and not just only education, the health. So I hope the first branch of government, and this is where the frustration comes in, the labor. These people, they have an assigned task, responsibility. They have committees, subcommittees on any functionaries of government. What are they doing? So they need to help the executive, because they should be the one to hold these people accountable. Because when they are held accountable, it means the executive branch of government is being held accountable. In as much the president appoints these people, but they have oversight. If someone is not functioning as the Minister of Education, and you see the school system is decaying, it's dying, you need to call the Minister of Education. What's going on? What is lacking? How can we get this done? But you know, this whole opposition thing, if you're for this party and you do everything possible, in as much you see this country here, they work at a bipartisan level for the good of the country. But it's not our people. CDC vote CDC way. Unity Party will want to vote Unity Party way. And everybody, they don't even have the time one of these days to invite, yes, I'm from the Unity Party, but I need to have a lunch with a CDC person. Let me share a note. This is my vision. This is the legislation that I want to put forward. Can I get your support? In fact, this is what I've written. I need your ideas. Let us work. Put aside Liberty Party. It doesn't happen. But all they want to do all day, they run to media and talk without putting solution. That's just crazy. I'm sick and tired of that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night to you as well.
Good night.
Sister, please have a blessed day. Mr. So, you too. Have a blessed one too.
Oh, you too. Wow. You too.
You know what both of you remind me of? You used to watch the Muppet Show, right? There were these two old men that would sit on the balcony and they argue all day while things is going on.
My brother,
you have a blessed night and you say you too. Like
I love it. I love him dearly.
I will, Liberal, whether you wish me a blessed night or night, I will have a good night. Okay?
Yeah,
you don't have to add you too.
Yeah,
I don't want to why you too channel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Again, folks, Samson to Liberian Public Radio, having a wonderful, wonderful show here this evening with these two gentlemen that just joined me. Great show. Great show. I want to thank all of you, the audience, those of you that have been writing. Thank you very much. Those of you that call in, Walter Carter, thank you very much for your contribution as well. We'll say good night to all of you. and let's meet again tomorrow. I will start from where my ending point this evening on this role and what is the benefit of this role, the whole role issue, because you need to understand it so that you appreciate when Ambassador Bakar start bringing role to your area. And we will do that. We will do that here on this platform. Thank you very much, and I will say good night to all of you.
Le père, votre vignon. Cadeau! Baïmaoa! Ablenyoa! On s'en trouve peu Ablenyoa. Moi, na kai kai. Fond de siate de Sébi. Zouzou! Ablenyoa, 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 Ablenyoa,